The music was perfect. Emily smiled, seconds from marrying the man she loved. But halfway down the aisle, a loud bark echoed. A German shepherd charged, blocking her path, growling fiercely. Her bouquet slipped. It was Rex, her missing dog. He wasn't here to celebrate. He was here to save her life from a hidden truth. Welcome back to the channel. Stories like this remind us that loyalty never fades, even when everything else falls apart. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. It helps us connect across the world. Now, let's go back to that morning. The air was crisp, filled with anticipation. Emily Carter stood ready, unaware that her perfect day was about to become a fight for survival. What happened next would shock everyone in that church, revealing a betrayal so deep only a dog could smell it coming. The bells were ringing, but not for joy. The church bells rang softly across the quiet morning air, their echo mixing with the sound of laughter and music. Inside the grand hall, white roses lined the aisles, and golden sunlight poured through stained glass windows, painting the floor with color. Everyone's eyes sparkled with joy. Today was supposed to be her perfect day. Emily stood at the entrance, dressed in a flowing white gown that shimmered with every breath she took. Her hands trembled slightly, not from nerves, but from overwhelming happiness. She looked radiant, the kind of beauty that only love could create. Her father whispered, "You ready, sweetheart?" She smiled, nodding through tears. More than ever, the music began. Slowly, she stepped forward, heart pounding in rhythm with every note. Guests turned, gasping softly at how stunning she looked. Her soon-to-be husband waited at the altar, eyes locked on her with affection. He looked perfect, too, in a sharp black suit, smiling warmly. The atmosphere was thick with love and promise. No one suspected the darkness hiding behind that smile. The flowers smelled sweet, the air felt light, and time seemed to stop just for them. It was a picture of perfection, frozen in a moment of pure bliss. But perfection is often fragile. Every detail had been planned for months. The candles flickered gently, casting a warm glow on the wooden pews. Friends and family leaned forward, eager to witness the union. They saw only love. They saw only a future filled with hope. Emily took a deep breath, inhaling the scent of lilies. She felt safe. She felt cherished. Nothing could go wrong, or so she believed. The organ swelled, signaling the final walk. She lifted her chin, ready to begin her new life. But halfway down the aisle, something broke the perfection. A low growl echoed through the church. The guests turned in confusion as a German shepherd bolted through the open doors, panting, eyes fixed on Emily. And before anyone could react, the dog stopped in front of her, blocking her path completely. The crowd fell silent. Emily froze, her smile fading. "Rex," she whispered. Gasps filled the church as the German shepherd stood firm, blocking Emily's way. The guests exchanged puzzled looks, some whispering in disbelief. The dog's eyes, deep, familiar, and filled with urgency, locked onto hers. Emily's breath caught. "It can't be," she murmured, her voice trembling. Rex, the dog she had lost 2 years ago, her childhood companion, her protector, the one who had vanished without a trace after saving her from a house fire. He was gone, or so she thought. Yet here he was, scarred, trembling, and staring at her like he had something to say. The groom frowned, stepping forward. "Emily, what's going on?" he asked, forcing a smile. But Rex growled lowly, stepping between them, his tail stiff and ears alert. The once joyful crowd now sat frozen in confusion. Emily dropped her bouquet, her heart pounding. "Rex!" she whispered again, kneeling slightly, her gown pooling around her. The dog whined, not in anger, but in desperation. Then suddenly, he tugged at her dress and barked sharply, turning toward the church doors. Something was wrong. The room that moments ago felt like a dream now felt suffocating. And as Rex barked again, louder this time, Emily realized this wasn't a reunion, that it was a warning. The groom's smile vanished, replaced by a flicker of irritation. He checked his watch, shifting his weight. Why was he impatient? The guests began to murmur, some standing to get a better look. A child cried out in fear. The priest hesitated at the altar, unsure whether to intervene, but Emily couldn't move. She could feel her pulse in her throat, pounding with every bark. The dog's fur was matted, his ribs visible beneath the coat. He had been through hell to get here, and he wasn't leaving without her. Rex's barking echoed through the church, sharp and unrelenting. Guests flinched. Some stood from their seats, whispering nervously. The priest hesitated at the altar, unsure whether to intervene. But Emily couldn't move. She could feel her pulse in her throat, pounding with every bark. "Emily, call him off!" the groom shouted, his voice cracking. But Rex ignored him. He turned in circles, growling, barking toward the entrance again, then back at Emily, his eyes pleading. Something inside her stirred, a gut feeling she couldn't explain. This wasn't random. Rex was trying to tell her something. Suddenly, Rex darted past her, teeth gripping the hem of her gown, pulling with desperate force. "Stop it!" Emily gasped, trying to steady herself, but his strength was unyielding. Her father rushed forward, angered. "That dog's gone mad." But then it happened. Rex froze mid-pool, ears twitching. His body stiffened, eyes darting toward the back pew. Emily followed his gaze. There, behind the crowd, a man in black slipped quietly through the side door. Her heart stopped. That wasn't a guest. And when Rex lunged forward with a growl so fierce it shook the hall, Emily realized her loyal dog hadn't come to ruin her wedding. He'd come to stop something terrible before it was too late. Chaos erupted in the church. Guests screamed as Rex's growl thundered through the hall. The mysterious man bolted for the exit, but Rex's bark stopped him cold, and that's when the groom shouted, "Don't let him leave." His voice cracked with panic. Emily turned, confused. Why did her fiancé sound afraid of him? Two groomsmen lunged toward the door, grabbing the stranger. He struggled, yelling, "You don't understand. He knows." But before anyone could speak, Rex lunged toward the groom. Not the stranger. Gasps filled the room. Emily froze. Rex! No, she cried. But the shepherd stood his ground, barking furiously at the man she was about to marry. The groom stepped back, pale, trembling. The mask was slipping. His hands shook as he reached into his jacket. The stranger was forgotten. All eyes were on the man at the altar. Rex barked louder, cornering him. The priest tried to intervene, but Emily whispered, "Wait." Tears welled in her eyes as she pieced it together. The late night calls, the missing documents from her father's safe, the way Rex's disappearance began the same week her fiancé arrived in town. Hours later, the church was empty, the guests gone, the decorations half wilted, and the bouquet she once carried lying forgotten near the altar. Emily sat on the steps outside, wrapped in a shawl, her wedding dress streaked with snow and tears. Beside her, Rex rested his head gently on her lap. The storm inside her heart slowly began to calm. She stroked his fur, whispering, "You knew all along, didn't you? You came back to save me." Rex's tail gave a faint wag, his eyes soft but tired. For 2 years, she had believed he was gone forever. And yet, on the one day she needed him most, he returned. A police officer approached quietly. "Ma'am," he said gently, "your dog. He led us to everything. If not for him, you might have never known." Emily smiled weakly through her tears. "He's not just a dog, officer. He's family." Weeks later, the news spread. Dog crashes, wedding saves, bride from conman fiancé. But for Emily, the headlines didn't matter. She rebuilt her life piece by piece, always with Rex at her side. And every morning, when sunlight streamed through her window, she'd whisper to him, "You didn't ruin my wedding. Boy, you saved my life."